Dumb, cool,
and weird
podcast.
Saw a situation one time happen. I could only imagine what was going on, but it was looked like it was in the like in one of the barracks. A bunch of these guys like were running around in their like their flaks and their fucking Kevlars, wearing only their underwear as their only bit of clothing and their boots. And they all had like these sticks, and it looked like they were getting ready to have like a fight, and apparently they just beat the shit out of each other like that.
Damn.
Like, yeah, that's good. Like one day I went over to the barracks because my wife used to make empanadas and everything, and we'd give them to the guys at the barracks for like for fun and everything because they were having football. They were having like football games going on throughout that time. And the staircase smelled spicy.
Oh.
So what happened was apparently this was like when the government shut down or some shit. The guys from like Intel got into a fight with each other in the stairwell. So the guys in PMO come over there and start like spraying them with OC spray.
Oh wow.
That's funny. Like hearing some of the shit that happened in the barracks, and like then having like 6 months where I was hanging out with those guys was like great, because my buddies and I would just get like shit house drunk. Like all we would do is like go and work out for 3 hours and then go and get like shit house drunk.
Damn.
like it's like no going to the club or anything. Just, hey, what are we gonna do? We're gonna buy a 12-pack of Coke and a bottle of McCormick's Canadian whiskey. It's like, oh god, this shit is like terrible straight, but when you mix it, it's gold.
Dude, McCormick's is terrible. I hate that shit.
Dude, it's fucking awful.
Yeah.
McCormick's Canadian whiskey is got to be like the.
I've had McCormick's vodka.
Oh, dude, everybody who at my old job who would get that, it's like, there was problems.
Yeah.
You're just like looking at them I'm like, man, I thought I was a drinker, but you bring it to a whole new level, man.
Yeah, McCormick's is one of those things. It's like this, when I was in high school, McCormick's was always the go-to. So was Barnett's, because it was just like easy to find. People could get it for you. And then the go-to beer was either Miller Lite or Red Dog.
I know, we were a little bougie with our beers. We went for the Miller High Life when I was in college.
There was a time in high school where I got to the point where like I started liking craft beers because my dad would keep them in his fridge. And so we had a guy that would buy us beer, and I started showing up to parties with craft beers, and that kind of changed everybody's perspective. Like I would show up with like Guinness, or I'd show up with like Newcastle, just these different types of beers that these people have never had before, because everybody's used to drinking like shitty beer like Natural Light or Keystone Light, or like all these different like shitty like light beers that everybody's like had.
It's like Bud Light. Bud Light is the cornerstone of like all drunken alcoholic teenagers.
Yeah. I mean, we had Bud Light. It was just, I'll be honest with you, we drank a lot of Miller Lite, but the beer that we drank the most was Natural Light. I don't know why Natural Light was that beer, but it was that beer in high school that we would drink all the time. Like every time there'd be a party, somehow Natural Light would be there, and I'd always be like,
What was that Walgreens beer you told me about one time?
Big Flats.
Yeah, I remember when you have like when you got a Big Flats, it wasn't because you were trying to get like any flavor. Like you should have just bought a pack of Natties.
Dude, you could get a 6-pack of Big Flats back in the day for $2.99. That's when I was in college. Like that was 2012. You could get a 6-pack of Big Flats for $2.99, and I just couldn't believe how cheap that beer was. But it was never me that bought that. I told him like Gnome would buy that stuff, and I'd always be like, bro, this is the worst shit I've ever had in my life. If you want to check out more of our stuff, go to www.dumbcoolweird.com. You'll find our Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, Instagram, and Patreon link if you want to support us. Also, be sure to check out our merch store. And if you're interested in being on our podcast, you can find a link on our website so you can reach out to us and tell us if you want to talk to us about something that's really weird, dumb, or cool. We'd be glad to hear from you. Hope you will stay tuned for the next weird ass episodes we got. Thank you.